Well, good afternoon. Today is the 3rd of November and here we are at an anonymous car park in Surrey to film this 1995 Hyundai Lantra 1.6 GLS automatic. This car doesn't currently have an MOT, doesn't currently have tax, so how it's come to be here I don't really know. I'm not going to say, but here it is anyway. Some of you would have seen this on the Cars You Don't See Anymore Facebook group because it's owned by Jude, who seems to specialise in picking up old, very peculiar cars for not very much money. So 1.6 GLS. I do believe this has fuel injection, and some of these cars were called GLSI, but this one for some reason is just called a GLS. It's a very late Mark 1 Lantra. As you can see, it is just called the Lantra, not the Elantra, which it was in some parts of the world, because Lotus in this country were selling the M100 Elan at the time, and they objected to a car which had such a similar name. This car has been owned by the last 9 years by a gentleman in southeast London who has given up driving, and he had sort of one or two goes, I think, at parking, as you can see from the rear bumper. The Lantra is actually heavily Mitsubishi based. It's based on Mitsubishi Mirage, or what else you want to call it, because it had so many names, from the early 90s, and this has a 1.6 litre Mitsubishi engine. I'll just get the model code here, 4G61, not 4G63. It's the Sirius family of engines, which is similar to the Orion family engine. In fact, the Orion engine that you could get in this car, the 1.5 litre one, was exactly the same as in the Proton 1.5 MPI that Jude owned a couple of months ago, and I filmed as well for a Walkaround channel. That's been quite successful. So you know, now we're 2 days away from national lockdown. I nipped down to see Jude, and somehow this car appeared in the in this car park. So that's where we've come to film it today. I don't remember the last time I saw one of these. I don't know an awful lot about them, to be honest. I have done a bit of research on them, and you know, they were probably somewhere between an Escort and a Mondeo in size, but a lot more luxurious. If we just open up the door here, you can see inside we're actually still in the pre-airbag era in this car, and still definitely within the sort of Japanese technology and you know, Korean or Malaysian implementation, a bit like a Proton, I suppose, where we've got the indicators on the right hand side and the wipers on the left. If I just get in here, you can see that I've got a nice door open warning light. It's sort of kind of very Japanese circa 1990 in here, and these cars were released in this country in 1991, so that kind of makes sense. The door card's very plain. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as plain as this, but we do have four, actually, one of this being a GLS. There was another model called a CD or CDI on top of this, as well as a GLX, and the base model is just called the L, I believe. And then we've got a push button for the door, but it's not that convenient being on the door, because if you sort of move the door a little bit, it sort of flaps around, but you know, it's not too bad. 4 electric windows, no air conditioning in this car, original Hyundai stereo. Controls are quite logically laid out. It smells of old car in here, which is pretty good. So no airbags in this car. This is an automatic. This will probably be a Mitsubishi automatic gearbox, and it has economy and power mode as well as overdrive. I think the clock does actually work, so if we just move that, yes, the clock actually works, which is fantastic. Glove box, see if we get the secret mission documents in it. No, sadly not. And tiny door pockets. I don't know why they're so small. It hardly gets in there at all. We do have door opening warning lights, which I suppose is useful. Let's have a look under the bonnet. So here we are, 4G61 engine. we think developing between 105 and 113 horsepower. It's quite difficult to find a power output for this, but yeah, I believe that's with a timing belt in there. These do have a timing belt, and that's definitely a Mitsubishi oil cap, but that's just been rebranded Hyundai. So 1.6 litre engine. Yeah, look, it looks a bit like a Proton engine, but that's not really a surprise, is it? Because Protons of this era use exclusively Mitsubishi engines. Yeah, it's not too bad in here. There's not actually that much corrosion on here. It's the biggest problem with this car is, you know, if someone's tried to touch the rear arches up with some unknown substance, and also parking damage. The actual kind of corrosion doesn't seem to be here, which is pretty good. And there we are. There's the gross weight of the car and everything. So I've just popped the boot. This car, we believe, was originally supplied by Hyundai for their fleet. That's why it's got an Oxford plate on it. Oh gosh, we've got bits everywhere in here. Sure, at some point Jude's gonna give this a bit of a clean. Let's lift this up. Yeah, I've got the full-size spare in there and the jack. I think that's a steel spare. It's quite a narrow opening on the boot. That's surprising, actually. It quite leaned down quite a long way to get in there, but it's pretty long, and those seats look like they fold as well. That's pretty good. Excellent. Right, let's get in the back. Unsurprisingly, the rear space feels like somewhere between an Escort and a Mondeo. Headroom's pretty good, that's not bad. It's quite an upright sort of seat, you've got to sit quite upright, but actually I fit in here, which is not bad. Got two ashtrays in here. One of them's got a cover, electric windows in the back. No headrest, sadly, or anything like that. No middle armrest in here, but it's not bad. It's just the seat cushion's quite low, so then my knees are pretty high up, but it's all right. Adjustable height seat belts in here, and you can see that sort of early 90s Japanese inspired dashboard. Brilliant. As I've said, because this car has miraculously turned up in the car park today, it hasn't got an MOT or tax, then I will not be driving it. That would be illegal, but Jude is planning on getting this car an MOT quite soon, and you know, after we have the lockdown restrictions lifted, that will be coming into force in a couple of days' time, although you'll be seeing this during the lockdown. I do hope to come back and give this car a full review on No Budget Reviews, so subscribe to the channel for that. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below. This will probably be one of the only times you'll ever see one of these cars. Actually, there's hardly any left of this country. I've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Consulting. I'll leave a link to the Proton Walkaround as well in the description below, and also instagram.com/Lloyd_vehicle_consulting. Thank you.